Welcome to Tech Talks. Our platform edition today is focused on tips for finding valuable app gems in Splunkbase. Tech Talks is a series of short webinars focused on features and best practices within use cases. We value you, our customer, and want you to continue in your Splunk journey. Our experts help create these tips and tricks, and we want you to leverage them in your daily role. I'm Tom Chavez, a Senior Manager for Developer Marketing, and I'm excited to share with you information about our tips for finding valuable app gems in Splunkbase. Joining me is David Baldwin, a Senior Manager for our Splunk developer ecosystem. He will be giving a demo in a few minutes, sharing how to find these gems using Splunk Cloud and the Splunkbase web portal. Today we're going to talk about how to get more value in Splunk Cloud, starting from where you are today, how to find and add new use cases that go beyond security and IT, and next David will demo finding apps in Splunk Cloud and from the Splunkbase web portal, and then we'll cover additional resources available to help you take advantage of Splunkbase apps and use cases, as well as link you to additional app development resources for Splunk. Our team is available for Q&A throughout this Tech Talk using the Q&A feature, or if you are watching a recording of this webinar, please continue the conversation through the Splunk community website for any follow-up questions. Let's talk about getting more value from Splunk Cloud. Many customers start using Splunk from a single use case. That could be monitoring complex infrastructure and services to prevent incidents before they impact customers. Or, coming from security, you might be using Splunk to defend your on-premises and multi-cloud environments with Splunk as your security nerve center to detect threats and fraud and perform incident investigation. These are great places to start with Splunk, and when you're ready, you can grow your use into new use cases. Splunkbase is the marketplace for applications you can easily add to Splunk to increase the value you receive. There are more than 2,000 integrations available, including hundreds across different use case categories, such as IT operations and security, to grow upon where you are now, as well as DevOps, business analytics, and IoT and industrial, plus a large collection of utility applications that help across any of these categories. Now let me hand things over to David Baldwin to give you a walk through Splunk Cloud with its built-in application browser and the Splunkbase web portal. David, take it away.
Thanks, Tom. Hello, everyone. This is David Baldwin, Product Manager at Splunk, and I'm going to walk you through some of the tips on how to leverage Splunkbase and the Inproduct App Browser to find the apps you need to better work with your data in Splunk Cloud. First, I'm going to jump into Splunkbase, where we maintain the apps and add-ons available to Splunk customers. And if you've never visited Splunkbase before, here's the homepage, and it begins up top with a carousel of popular apps to spin and browse and work with. If you scroll down, there's some options here in terms of jumping into all apps that are currently available in Splunkbase. We have some nice options here in terms of being able to browse by common categories that our customers experience. DevOps, IT ops, security and fraud, IoT, and business analytics. Another section that has been found to be very useful from our customer base is the ability to go through and browse based on technology. And right now we have some different groupings in here in terms of Cisco, Dell EMC, and AWS. There's also the option for those who want to jump in right away to be able to see these apps that were built by Splunk, whether they be supported or not supported. Those apps that have passed our app inspect tooling, as well as the newest apps from a new release perspective or an update. At the bottom, something I recommend taking a look at if you have some time, especially if you're working with apps, that if you are developing your own app, there's the option here to submit your own app to Splunkbase for others to use in the community. There's also a quick link here as well that will take you to some developer resources in terms of best practices, some tutorials, some examples in terms of how to build an app, and also actually how to publish those on Splunkbase. So next, I'm going to jump into basically a listing of all the current apps that are available within Splunkbase. And from here, I'm looking over to the left. I see how the apps are broken down into different segments, very similar to how the homepage was broken down. We see the use cases, the category, technology, apps built by Splunk, new updates and releases. And if I click on any of the segments, the apps over to the right will be filtered based on my selection. And that selection will also be available up here on top as well. And one example is that, say that I'm interested in terms of what apps are currently available from a DevOps perspective, and I just selected the DevOps category. And a list of apps have been pre-filtered down that are actually compatible or have been selected by those developers as being compatible with a DevOps scenario. And if I use, or if you guys use Jenkins at your company, this would be an example of an app that would be able to expand your use cases in order to track the Jenkins job analytics. And from this page, which will be very similar to a lot of the other pages that you'll see within Splunkbase, you'll be able to go through and see some pre-canned or some images that are available on top here. If you scroll down to the app itself, you see an overview of the app, some details in terms of how the dashboard functions, how to consume or how to utilize the app or the add-on that's available. And over to the right, we have those additional, the output from those filters that we selected earlier, as well as the version in terms of what might be available if that particular app has multiple versions available. I'm now going to go back into that pre-filtered set of apps I had beforehand from a DevOps perspective, and I'm going to go into the products and solutions. And from here, being a Splunk Cloud customer, I want to go through and see which one of those apps are now available from a Splunk Cloud perspective. And up top, we see both those filters now enabled, where I have Splunk Cloud and DevOps. I also have the ability to be able to remove these filters by clicking that X and then re-clicking them over here again. And for those users who have a better idea of what they're looking for, they can go up to the search bar and type in a keyword or a set of keywords that might be associated with that app. And for just because of it's an easy use case to be able to pick out, I'm going to enter in Cisco. And Cisco now returns a whole series of apps that, based on that filter, that I can select from. Or I can hit enter, and it will take that search criteria and pass that back into the overall app experience in terms of being filtered based on Cisco. And so from that perspective, I'm going to click on my DevOps use case again. I'm kind of living in a DevOps world right now. And click on Splunk Cloud. And so now using those three different filters, Cisco, Splunk Cloud, and DevOps, I have a series of apps that are now presented back to me. I can click on the Cisco WebEx Team Alert Actions, see that screenshot that's currently available, some details on how to consume or use the app and add-on. And over to the left, I also see that this app is also compatible with Splunk Cloud and falls under the DevOps, as well as the IT operations use case as well. So some good experience in terms of being able to dive in and see more context associated with that individual app. Now I'm going to take you over to the Inproduct App Browser that you would see if you were a Splunk Cloud customer. And the nice thing about the Inproduct App Browser is that it will pre-select or pre-identify a lot of those apps that will be, by default, compatible with your cloud environment. So it's a useful tool instead of having to go through and look into Splunkbase and filter out and figure out what might work in your environment. You can utilize the Inproduct App Browser. And there's two different ways to get into the Inproduct App Browser. I'll show you both of those right now, and then I'll go back in and give some more details in terms of how it works. The first one, starting from the Cloud Monitoring Console, is that you go in, click Find More Apps, and from here we have a very similar experience in terms of what you might see from the Splunkbase. Over to the left, we have our filters, category, the app type, support type of app content. And over to the top here, we have the ability to scroll through and look at the different apps that are currently available from a cloud perspective. I want to show you the other option in terms of how to get to here as well, is that if we click into Manage Apps, we can go up into look at the apps that are currently installed. Then we can go up to Install Apps, same window, readily available. So what I'm going to do here is try to recreate the same experience I had from Splunkbase. I'm going to go out and look for that Cisco WebEx app based on the criteria that I entered beforehand. So in this case, I'm going to do a quick search for Cisco, hit enter. I'm already clicked on DevOps, and there we are. Cisco WebEx Team Action Alert app is readily available. I can install that into my environment by clicking continue. I'm not going to do that here right now just because of time, but some other interesting pieces associated with this particular app is that we can see the categories that it's actually associated with. If we want to, we can also jump in and go back and look at Splunkbase. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Takes us right to the app that we were just in over on the Splunkbase side. A great user experience in terms of trying to be able to navigate and understand how to be able to use the apps. If you are interested in learning more about a particular app, maybe you want to get some more feedback in terms of how the app is being used in the community and some new tools and tricks. One of the things we can do is that we can, from the Splunkbase page here, we can go into Splunk Answers, which will then take us over to our Splunk Communities pages. A lot of great information here in terms of how to use Splunk, some use cases in terms of how customers are using it. Because we're talking about apps here, I'm going to go over to the Splunk Answers, scroll down to the apps and add-ons, and now it takes me to the communities page, all about apps and add-ons. So I can go in and looking for, again, different use cases, different examples, some experiences that customers have working with the apps and add-ons. You can do keyword search as well. And this is also a great resource in terms of how to get the most value out of your apps as well as your Splunk Cloud environment. Anyways, that's a quick summary in terms of how Splunkbase operates, as well as some useful tools that are available in the Inproduct App Browser and how to navigate that. Thanks, everyone, and back to you, Tom.
Thanks, David. That was a great walkthrough of how to find and add app gems in Splunk Cloud and with the Splunkbase web interface. To close things out, here are some additional resources you can access after this talk to continue your journey with Splunk. First, there's the Splunkbase Web Marketplace, where you can find the 2,000 plus integrations and read all about them, look at sample screenshots, and watch demo videos. Second, our Splunk community is a great resource for questions and answers about Splunk apps and discussing them with other users. If this talk has inspired you to dig into the topic of creating a Splunk app, we've included a link to the Splunk training course on building Splunk apps. And if you build an app and want to share it in the Splunkbase Marketplace, here's a link to the docs describing the process from end to end. Last, as with all Splunk products, we welcome your ideas and feedback in our Ideas program, where you can post a suggestion, as well as add your support for suggestions that other customers have posted. We'll email all of these links to you after this webinar. We invite you to continue the conversation with us in the Splunk community site, where we host Splunk answers and discussions, as well as the Ideas area. Join the discussion for this Tech Talk there today. And you can also find a local user group to join to collaborate with other Splunk users in your area or virtually online. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us today. Please tune back in for future Tech Talks. We're excited to share the series with you.